If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. As you can see, it's getting pretty crazy out there, to say the least. But remember, while all this stuff is going on, remember that they foretold us that these are the things that they were going to do to our society. From predictive programming and all these films, which I've covered, quarantine films, outbreak films, right? People see it now really happening, and they're like, it's legit, it's legit, it's legit. They fall in line, they fall in line, they fall in line, and then they comply. But what's scariest about it is what I'm going to show you, because there's no film, there's no book that had more predictive programming than 1984. It's like the blueprint that all of us who are awake talk about and follow. But now I want to show you these things, because you might have read the book and might have forgotten about the book. But it's amazing if you go back and you even just watch the film and watch some of the scenes. But I'm going to show you some of these scenes to show you exactly what's happening now, is exactly how they're pretty much ushering in the New World Order through this so-called outbreak that has occurred. Number one, what are we seeing? We're seeing curfews in effect, right? Curfews all around the United States of America, worldwide, soon to be everywhere, let's just say, right? In America, they're pretending it's state by state. 8 p.m. curfews here, 8 p.m. curfews there, shelter down, lockdowns, all this other stuff. This was foretold in the book 1984. In the year, you know what year this came out? Do you know what year it came out? It is 2020. This film is from 1956. Think about how long ago that is. Think about how long they've been planning to do this stuff, to herd the sheep and herd the cattle. And this even shows you then curfews in effect and your punishment for violating the curfew, just like we're hearing now, right? If you break curfew, you will be fined. Restaurant owners, if you deny what we're telling you to do, which is shut down your business, you can be imprisoned. Sound familiar?
From the devastation wrought by the atomic raids of 1965, three great police states rose to divide the world: Oceania, Eurasia, and East Asia. Atomic weapons were abolished, but not war itself. For only by maintaining the strain and tension of continual conflict could the ruling parties enforce absolute power.
Who are you?
6748 Smith, W.
Where do you work?
In the Ministry of Truth,
Which department?
the Records Department.
What is your business in the people's area?
I had a headache. I thought if I got a little air.
When did you leave work?
1800 hours.
It's now 2200. Report tomorrow morning at 800 hours to Court Administration.
And what's the other big thing that we hear coming out of this? Social distancing, right? Keeping people at bay. That's the thing. All the celebrities just keep going, we have to distance ourselves from each other. We have to be away from each other. We have to contain ourselves and stay away. And the only way we can communicate is through technology, until, of course, they either shut down the internet or tell you that you can catch it through your computer screen, which the people now are so dumb, they're dumb enough to believe that. But social distancing, remember in 1984, social distancing, you couldn't even touch another person, let alone speak to another person without being monitored on camera and being watched. That's what's going on now. And now social distancing is being implemented.
Can you hear me? Sunday afternoon. Go to South Meadow from Central Station. Cross the bridge and follow the river for a half a mile until you come to a fallen tree. Wait for me in the glade. I'll get there by another all right. There's no microphone here.
It takes a little while to realize you're not being overheard.
Or watched. We can look at each other now and not be afraid.
We can say whatever we like to each other.
We can even touch each other. If we want to.
In our society. And of course, they tell you that the reason it's being implemented is because it's for our betterment. It's for them, Big Brother, to protect us. Give me an absolute break. And there's so many other things in 1984 which you can go through. There's so many other things like how the enemy's constantly changing, but how they use television and the propaganda and get everyone riled up to go after whoever they want. This person's bad. Follow Big Brother. Love Big Brother. Big Brother's here to take care of you. So-and-so's the bad guy, right? What have we heard over the years? Oh, Russia's the bad guy. Oh, Korea's the bad guy. What have we even heard recently? People who are conspiracy theorists are the bad guy. Well, that will be what's coming because we're already seeing it, right? Wait until the shot comes out and they go, these are the people who are refusing to get the shot. And they're going to start screaming because they can't go back to their normal way of life unless we fall in line.
And raped our women. They have tortured and killed the wounded and prisoners, contriving lingering and horrible deaths for those who fall into their hands. While our gallant forces are engaged in a life and death struggle, we face on the home front an enemy who is far more dangerous. One of our own people, the arch-traitor Canada. This is the man, the leader of the underground, who betrayed our glorious revolution and would betray Big Brother. A man whose agents sabotaged our glorious 9-year plan, who retards our progress and sells our military secrets to the enemy.
Hang the criminal.
Is trying to tell you that Big Brother has betrayed you into fighting a war against Eurasia that you can never hope to win. He says the Eurasians are good, kind people. They do not want war. They want peace. He actually begs you to make peace with your brothers of Eurasia.
Hate! 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 Hate!
Do you see how this all works? You see how the controlled system works, this planned controlled system that they created through the industrial age, through technology, through all of this stuff. They now have everyone under their thumb. It used to just be, hey, newspapers were the control. This is what's going on around the world. And what have I been talking about on this channel? They're hinting at internet shutdown. Why? So that the one source, the one narrative will be the television. You won't be able to get information from anyone else. You won't be able to share your opinions with anyone else because you're quarantined. There won't be social media for a time period. There won't be YouTube to listen to other voices. There won't be any of that stuff. Maybe you'll be able to interact with your mom or your dad, but they'll keep you quarantined away from everyone until they make it mandatory for people to be quarantined. This is all happening right now, but this is not a surprise to people like me. It's not a shock. Am I surprised that it's happening right now? Well, kind of, because this just really happened out of the blue. And yeah, I mean, you hear truthers and people year after year, they're like, this is the year, this is the year. I get it, right? But in all seriousness, you know, what way were they going to come in, right? How are they going to introduce martial law? How are they going to introduce all of these things to distance us from each other, to divide us, right? Look at the division that we see being created by age groups now. We already have the men versus women, which they've created, right? Those divisions, religious divisions, you know, whether it's atheists and Christians or whatever. And then they create, of course, white versus black. Now they're creating millennials versus baby boomers. And it's the young kids who keep going out and partying. All these videos coming up. Oh, millennials are still going out on spring break. Well, I thought all these places were closed. What are they doing out on spring break? Right? They saw them on the beach and stuff. They're already talking about they've closed beaches in Florida. But whatever. They're showing all these kids out partying going, I don't care what happens to me. And then they go on TV and they go, the news reporters, they say, listen, elderly people, it's these kids that can spread it to you. They're the dangerous ones. So these old people go, these kids need to get in line and blah, blah, blah. And then it's just more division amongst the citizens. This is only going to get crazier and crazier. It's only going to get more insane over the next couple of days. Because think about how quick this happened in the last 2 weeks. You know, it was only 2 weeks ago they still were playing spring training baseball. You still could travel. You still could go to Las Vegas or Atlantic City. You still could go to Europe. And suddenly we have the whole state of California locked down, the whole state of New York locked down, and the stock market has went to close to 30,000 to 19. People have lost everything that they've saved and built over their lives as they destroy the dollar, as they tell you not to use cash anymore because people are catching the virus through handing each other $5 bills. They're telling you to shelter down by duct taping your windows and duct taping your doors and duct taping your turning your air conditioner off and taping that up too, and just sitting at home with the television on. Those are the mandatory things that they're making. Meanwhile, they're telling people it's okay to hike. It's okay to be outdoors as long as you're 6 feet apart. I mean, all of these stories even contradict themselves. The doctors come out and they go, we don't know where it came from. Oh, no? Oh, no? Is it here or is it not here? And if it did come, why don't people question where it came from? If it's really here and people don't go, well, maybe it's a biological weapon. You know, we do have these places like Plum Island and all these centers for disease control where they make things like Lyme's disease. Diseases don't appear out of someone's rear end. A bat just doesn't take a dump and suddenly there's this disease that's spread that no one knows about, yet it's on the back of a Lysol bottle. It doesn't work that way. Everything is planned and part of a script, and you're seeing it happen right before your eyes. Thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.